So I've just flown out to Germany. I'm here to visit some US troops. I'm going to go to Ramstein and teach a seminar. Every time I go to a US base, there's always a big bunch of MMA fans. They always want to ask questions and get techniques and train. So I've come out here for a few hours, and we're going to get a session together. We're going to do some kickboxing and then probably get some rounds on the floor as well. So I'm looking forward to it. The troops are always really tough. So I was out here recently, just last year. We were here for UFC Berlin. It was a great card. The fans are always fantastic here. They're always very passionate. They're always very knowledgeable about the sport as well. Germany's got some really good fighters. Obviously Dennis Siver's very well known. Peter Sabota's coming up. Nick Hein. A lot of good guys in this country, and very good kickboxing. Good kickboxing's always come out of Germany. But now what I'm really starting to see is the development of the ground game. And the fans are very knowledgeable about the sport as well, which is really good to see. I always like coming out here. The countryside's beautiful, and right now it's really green, which it wasn't last time I was here. So the Carlos Condit-Thiago Alves fight was very impressed. I thought Thiago won the first round. I thought he was slightly more aggressive, but then as soon as the second round started, Carlos Condit showed really what he's capable of. I've not seen anybody use close range elbows like Carlos Condit did in that fight. I thought he was very effective. Obviously Thiago's nose will say the same thing. And I definitely think there's an argument for a title shot there. He was already up in the top 5, and beating Thiago Alves, just solidifies that position. I think he's a difficult matchup for anybody in the division. I think he's very unorthodox. And in that top 5 at welterweight at the moment, there are so many interesting matchups. I'm a fan of Carlos, and I'd like to see him fight some more of those guys. I think him against Robbie Lawler would be a great fight. I'd love to see him fight Nick Diaz again. There's lots of good fights for him. The fight between Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald's a very interesting one. I've always been a big fan of Robbie Lawler. I like his fighting style. He always comes to throw down, never any nonsense. But Rory McDonald is the new breed of mixed martial arts for me. Robbie Lawler kind of represents the old school, stand and trade punches. He's got good takedown defense, but he ultimately likes to fight. Whereas Rory McDonald is a very well-rounded mixed martial artist. I've trained with him in Montreal. I was very impressed with him. He's a big, strong kid. And he's skillful anywhere the fight goes. He fights very good at range. He's very good at keeping the distance and striking at range, keeping people on the outside of his jab. But then as soon as he initiates a clinch, he's very strong in the clinch. He's good at dragging people to the floor and then just dominating them on the mat. And I think that now he's realising that he is, one of the top welterweights in the world. His confidence as well as his technique is going to really make him very dangerous. I'd like to say Robbie Lawler's going to win because I'm a fan of Robbie Lawler, and I'd like to see him defend his belt a couple more times, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if Rory McDonald took it from him. Oh, that's a tough one. Right now, I'm going to go with Joanna. I think that she's just got the belt. She's very hungry. She knows she's capable of defending the belt against anybody in the division. And Jessica Penne's very tough, but Joanna's Thai boxing skills and takedown defense at the moment for me is a bit too much. I've got to go with Dennis Siver in the fight against Kawajiri. I'm a fan of Kawajiri. He's been around for a long time. I always enjoyed watching his fights in Pride. But I think that Siver's more well-rounded. He has better kickboxing, and I think his judo and sambo background is going to help him keep the fight standing and cause Kawajiri all kinds of problems. The Nick Hein fight is a difficult one to call, just given the fact that he's had UFC experience, and he had a tough fight against Drew Dober and did really well. I'm going to go with Nick Hein. It's always tough making the UFC debut, and to make it on the main card against a guy fighting in his home country, that's a big ask for anybody. So I'm going to stick with Nick Hein for that one. question. For me, the fighter, the German fighter that has the most potential right now, it's difficult. I think Nick Hines is very well rounded. Obviously, he's got a lot of punching power. He's got a great judo background, so that makes him very, very strong, difficult to deal with in the clinch. He speaks well. He's very charismatic. He's very good for the sport in this country, and very good at communicating to to fans and people that have not heard about the sport before, what we're about and why we do it and why we love the sport. And I think that's a huge strength for him. Skill-wise, I think Peter Sobotta is going to go a long way. Just seeing how much he improved between his first time in the UFC and now this second time. If he keeps improving at that rate, he's going to be one of the top welterweights around very soon. As far as my situation, nothing's really changed. I've been so busy with this, with the commentary job and flying around teaching seminars and stuff. My plan is to get cleared at the end of this year to fight, but I want to put myself through a full training camp first, so I know that I'm in good condition and I can show the doctors that I'm in condition to fight as well. So I still have plans on getting cleared. I'd still like a couple more fights, but I'm taking my time and taking it day by day at the moment. There are a lot of good fighters out there, and particularly at the moment, there seems to be a wealth of strikers. Difficult to pick, really. Who would I like to fight? Well, people I respect, people that are going to give me a good fight, a good challenge. Obviously, Cowboy is very active at the moment, and he's been looking really good. He's a great kickboxer. He's got good ground game. He'd be a real tough test for me. KJ Noons, I've never particularly vibed with that guy, but he's an ex-pro boxer and he fancies himself as a bit of a striker, so that'll be a fun fight. Diego Sanchez is injured at the moment, but I know me and him go back and forth. He calls me out from time to time. There's a lot of good guys, and I'm open to different weight classes as well. I'd be happy to fight guys lighter as well, because I'm a little smaller than I used to be. The fight night on June 20th, it's going to be great. I mean, for starters, the main event, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she's the most dangerous striker in the women's strawweight division. She's so fast, she's so powerful, and she's relentless. She believes 100% in her technique, and now she's got takedown defense to match. That makes her a very, very dangerous force in that division. It's going to be difficult to get that belt off her. Jessica Penne has got all different kinds of skills. She's got a lot of experience. She's already been a champion at atomweight in Invicta. She's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's got very good ground game. She's very flexible, got good dexterity with her legs, so she's good at tying people up. So that's going to be a really good contest, a really back and forth fight. I see a really, really tightly contested match, and the champion's going to be tested like never before. That's worth tuning in for, if nothing else. Denis Silva-Kawajiri is a fight between two legends. Kawajiri's been around for a long time. If you look down his record, he's fought everyone that's worth fighting. And Denis Silva just coming off a loss to Conor McGregor, but other than that, he's looked good. He's like a little hurricane if you get too close to him. He hits very hard. He's got good throws. He's got good spinning kicks. He's a very, very dangerous guy. Tatsuya Kawajiri, he's the guy that can teach you something about your ground game, even if you're an expert. He's been around for so long. He's submitted so many people, and he's solved so many problems in his time in the octagon and in the ring, that he has so much experience to draw, and he can catch people in unusual circumstances with unusual submissions. That's really, really worth a watch. And then, just going down the card, there are so many good matchups on the card. Obviously, Nick Hines is going to be on the card. I'm really excited to see Peter Sobotta take on Sergio Moraes. That is a battle of two potential welterweight stars in the future. So just don't miss it. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I can't wait to be there. It's the first time I've had a real big title fight in Europe in a while, so we need to show the support for the UFC and make sure that they know we need more of these big fights over here.